I think what's working and what I bring into the process is I've been doing coaching for about 25 years, and I've worked with a lot of emerging leaders in the business world. I've worked with middle managers and executive leaders. And so to be able to bring sort of a variety of those experiences to each one of my coachees has been really fun. It's been really creative because each person is in a different stage of their development. And I think that's part of the joy of working with each person, is discovering where are they and what's their leading edge, what's their leading challenge. And so I think as a professional coach, it's stretched me in my learning, which is something I've appreciated, to be able to continue to hone my skills and learn something new, as well as integrate what I've done up to this point.
So I've expected the coaching with you to be very kind of business oriented and completely driven, and I was amazed at how quickly you were able to figure out what I needed and how I needed to be coached. And you're just very responsive to that, and able to get kind of into a deep space with me, which helped me, I think, do a lot better work.
Mm-hmm. That's great, and I would say. What's been interesting for me to see as the program's progressed is how you and my other coachees have really taken the power of our relationship in coaching and blossomed it into the Applied Project. And so at the end of the day, we are measuring how are you impacting your organizations and the people that you lead, the people that you work with every day. And so, that inner work is reflected in the outer work, which is really an amazing accomplishment. I'm so impressed and inspired by what I've seen in the measurable outcomes of your applied projects.
I think that whatever point you are in your career of ministry, it's valuable to come. Like I said, I wish I'd come earlier because I could have used all this information and experience earlier in my ministry. But even at this point, I've been a pastor for 29 years. I think it's really going to help me finish strong.
The longer you go in ministry, the more you begin to realize not only are there things that you're really good at, there are some gaping holes of education that you can't cover everything in a 3-year course of study of seminary. They cover a lot. I went to Sioux Falls Seminary, and I think they do an excellent job at balancing theological and practical aspects. But the reality is, in 90 some odd credits, you can only cover so much. And so the church leadership program seemed really intriguing to me that it covered some of those gaps. One of the most enriching parts about this relationship, I think, is that John and I have become friends, first of all, and it's not directed. He's not telling me what I should be doing or what I ought to be doing, or to use a crass expression someone once taught me. He's not shooting all over me, so to speak, but instead he just asks leading questions. He just helps me to sort of think through things in a different perspective and then search for my own answers. And I really value the fact that John doesn't come with any preconceptions of what it means to be a pastor. His experience before now has been in coaching people in the business world. That's incredibly valuable to me because so often we pastors, the first thing we want to do is tell everybody, oh, you need to do this. This worked for me. And of course, everything's contextual. So the same answer doesn't always work to the same problem when you've got a different context. And John's not out there to fix my problems. He's there to just ask me questions and help me to find various solutions to the different issues that come up. And I really, really appreciate that.
What's different than business coaching, this coaching is really all about helping people grow in their faith, growing your faith yourself as you go through this, and just finding a way to connect with people who are trying to get better at what their career is bringing them to do. Supporting them, challenging them, and building a strong personal relationship. So it's a great opportunity for people that want to coach in that kind of environment with some really outstanding people. The people that are accepted for this program, they don't just say they want to go, they get asked to go, they have to qualify to go. So you know going in that you're going to be working with some people that have been selected and chosen to do this, and they're amazing. And so the value goes both ways. Coach gets a lot of value out of this as well as the person that's being coached.
I think the term coaching gets overused. I think there are people that would say that they're coaching and really what they're trying to do is correct or change somebody, and that's not my way. I would much rather be, I use things like being present with the individual, thinking about where they are and meeting them there. I certainly have an agenda for our times together, but it's not in the proverbial granite. It has to be flexible to be in the moment with the person I work at. In doing that, I think I can best serve the individual, and if I'm helping them, I'm helping their church.
For me, at first, I had never been coached before except for in softball, and those were never good experiences. And so I struggled with is this going to be something where I'm going to get yelled at, or like I'm going to leave coaching and feel like I'm not good enough? And it was a lot of unknowns, and core to my being is I don't like the things that I do not know. And so that's what really kind of scared me at first, was that this is something that's an unknown to me, but I also knew deeply within myself that it was something that I needed.
The more you can ease into it and not expect that it's going to be tremendous to start with, but it will get there through co-creation of the experience, that's, I think, what was an advantage. It's not unusual for people to have had a lousy experience with coaching, either professionally or with sports or with something. And look at the word you chose. I was going to get yelled at. Well, really? I get that though. I get that. So it's just important that we have that chance to just meet and make it the most that we could.
Your authenticity with wanting to make sure that you are showing up and allowing us to show up as whole people and not just work, that it wasn't just about the coaching aspect, but that you genuinely care about the rest of who I am as a person.
I'm not a pastor, and yet I really do think that I can come alongside, and I've often used the phrase be in the corner of the individual I'm working with. The aspect about just being curious and thinking about how in that moment with what's important right now, and Nicole heard me use this phrase, just give you some things to think about. Give you some things to be curious about, give you maybe some starters as to some things that you can ponder. The last point I'll make is if you think that you have to come up with all the answers, you probably just are not cut out to do this. It's not that you don't have some benefit along the way, but yeah, you don't have to have the answers. But you do have to have some great questions along the way to help them uncover that themselves.